What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sportsgasm Podcast, the podcast created by the fans for the fans, because as you know, we believe that we are the most qualified people to talk about our favorite teams. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
And Kylee.
And welcome to episode 16, the Draft Spectacular slash NBA's playoffs slash NHL playoffs slash everything happening edition of the Sportsgasm Podcast. It was a busy week. Before we dive into this episode, Kylee, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you as well.
If you're not watching Star Wars today, or, well, I guess if you didn't watch Star Wars yesterday when this gets released at least once, you violated many, many rules.
Gotta watch it tomorrow, too. Revenge of the 5th.
Oh, yeah, Revenge of the 5th. Revenge of the 5th. Did you know I've never been able to get through that movie without crying? I know I'm probably exposing myself to the people that watch this, but yeah, that movie is sad. Anyway, so a lot happened this week in sports, and we're going to start off with some breaking news surrounding the NFL and some international games. So
yes, love international games.
Kylee, where are we going to be playing next season?
All I saw was the Bucks are playing in Germany against the Seahawks.
Oh yeah,
that one was announced earlier this morning or yesterday morning when you're watching this. So that's pretty cool. My issue with all of this, though, is like, I know somebody has to be the home team, and the Bucks are the home team this year.
Yeah, we lose a home game because of that.
Exactly, and that's like, I understand one team has to be home, but they should count it as 2 away teams on the schedule.
I mean,
because they're both technically away, so it's just kind of like.
But then it would have to.
Like, I get why they do it, but
then those teams would have to get an extra home game, and it's the whole situation is. I've never considered it like that. Honestly, I mean, it is what it is. I will say this: I kind of feel for Seahawks fans.
Yeah,
because if you think about it, Seahawks fans are going to have to get up at 6:30 in the morning to watch the game against the Bucks.
They're going to get their asses kicked.
Probably. Yeah, the Seahawks aren't looking that good. Aren't set up this good at all for this year. The other national games that got announced. So for Mexico, we've got the 49ers and the Cardinals. Always good to see the NFL back in Mexico. I don't think they've been since 2019.
Really?
Were they there last year?
No, they weren't there last year, I don't think. I remember. I don't think so.
The last Mexico game was the Chiefs-Chargers game in 2019 because then COVID hit and they didn't go last year. So that'll be nice to see. The Mexico games are always fun because the fans there come out in droves. And the games are usually pretty – the Mexico games are usually pretty good games. There was that one Patriots-Raiders game in 2017 that was bad, but other than that, Mexico games rock. And then the London games. So we've got Giants versus Packers, Vikings versus Saints, and Broncos versus Jaguars. So actually interesting matchups for the London games for once.
Very. Jaguars always play in London.
Yeah, they do. Well, it's their second home, the London Jaguars. They have more fans overseas than they do actually in the U.S.
Right.
Been proven by law that's a fact. I'm interested in the Giants-Packers game because the Packers are one of the few teams that were very adamant they didn't want to do international games because the Packers losing a home game is
money.
Yeah, the Packers are the one team that I don't think necessarily they were really stiff about tradition, not wanting to sully tradition and do an international game, but I think they finally got convinced to do so.
If the Yankees, the most traditional team that I know, can do an international game, so can the Packers.
The Packers should.
Yeah, the Yankees are way more iconic. Come on now. And it's great. International games are great. And it's an early game. I love watching games early.
Yeah, you get up, you get to watch football, and then there's football all day. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's something to watch.
I'm just glad that international games are back and we're going to new places and because the last 2 seasons, we had a couple games in London. That was it. They've also always scheduled London games as games between bad teams, which sucks. But now it's they're finally waking up and maybe we should put goodish teams. Okay, Bucks Seahawks yeah, that's a pretty bad team versus the Bucks. So makes sense. 49ers Cardinals is interesting because they're both playoff teams. Hopefully the 49ers will be one. And then with the London games, you got Packers Giants, which the Giants actually look interesting for once considering the draft they had, and we'll get into that later. Vikings Saints is two teams that are about on the same level, and Broncos Jaguars are two teams that are very, very interesting coming into this season. So I'm excited. The international games this year actually look interesting and not just games between two bad teams.
Yeah, it makes me happy, and I want to see a lot more international games. It's just the issue with that is the money, and
the travel.
Can't lose their money.
I hope that with the Seahawks, they schedule a game for the Seahawks on the East Coast as their next game, because for the Seahawks, who are on the NFL's moon colony out there in Seattle with no one else in the vicinity, that's a massive jump between time zones for them.
Yeah.
That team is going to get wrecked if they don't properly schedule them. So I hope that when the schedule gets released later this month, they the Seahawks get a little break after the London trip.
Because that's like
trip.
We're 6 hours behind the UK. And then they're 3 hours behind us. So that's 9 hours.
And that's 10 total hours if you count in the time zone between UK and Germany.
That's right, because it's in Germany.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be chaotic. Seahawks are probably going to be a mess to begin with. So I don't think we have to really worry about it impacting any the playoffs for them. But yeah, that's rough.
Unless Drew Lock comes into his own finally.
Well, we can only dream. Let's talk about the draft and the chaos that it created.
So much chaos. It was fun from start to end.
I can tell that you had a lot of fun.
I had so much fun.
Titans fans, I'd like to formally apologize to you guys. Anyway, fun draft. Really fun draft. A lot of twists and turns, a lot of trades that came out of nowhere. Two trades in particular that just popped out of nowhere that shocked us involving receivers. The first one, Kylie, I'll let you take the reins on this one. A.J. Brown to the Eagles. You had a lot to say about this on social media when it happened.
So when the draft was happening, we'll get to this part later, but the Sixers beat the Raptors. So the end of the series, the Eagles had just traded for A.J. Brown, and we got Jordan Davis. I was so hyped. I may have had one too many drinks already and kind of went off on social media. But it was great. I was so hyped. I mean, a first and a third, and to not give up anything for next year. Come on. That's a fleece if I've ever seen one. And now the Eagles receiving core is insane. From not wide receivers, but who can actually receive a freaking ball. You have Dallas Goedert at tight end, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Those three themselves are going to be so covered. You're going to have Greg Ward or Quez Watkins just wide open somewhere.
I like what the Eagles are doing. And the Eagles are addressing the fact that they did not have the weapons. Excuse me. They did not have the weapons necessary last year to make a legit deep playoff run.
Or a few years before.
They haven't had the weapons for Jalen Hurts. Now they do.
Or Wentz
too. Yeah. So I'm glad to see what they're doing. The other big receiver trade was the Cardinals traded for Hollywood Brown, which
coincidentally was a good move because D-Hop suspended 6 games.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins used PEDs. So you think they knew about that a little beforehand and knew what the NFL's ruling and panicked?
That's the rumor, because I was told that Hollywood Brown had actually requested a trade 2 years in a row.
Makes sense.
So he wanted out last year. The fact that they were able to keep this so private blows my mind. But
it's rare to see that in the NFL team too. It's rare to see that in the age of sports. Oh yeah, with the amount of beat reporters that are releasing stories and information, it's really rare to see something kept so quiet.
Yeah, especially 2 years in a row. It's insane. And so apparently They knew about it like earlier on in the week or something too. So this trade was gonna happen. It was just a matter of when. And it I've never liked Hollywood Brown ever. So I'm glad to see him go.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Ravens do. I feel
Mhm.
like the Ravens have decided that they need to completely refit Lamar Jackson with brand new weapons because
They
all
might
the
get
weapons
Debo.
that they had, that would be nice. That would be
Mhm.
really nice. You have a player that's like so multi-talented.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that it's interesting to see that the Ravens have decided, okay, this current core that we have built around Lamar didn't work out. We tried it, just couldn't work it out. So
Mhm.
let's get a brand new core and see what happens. They got to be careful with that because eventually they'll get to I've seen countless times in NFL history, a team tries to retool the weapons for a quarterback, and the quarterback ends up getting fed up and leaves. So,
Which Lamar's on a contract year. He could leave. Very possible for him to leave. And then
my mic disconnected for a second there. We're back. We're back. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Especially considering the disaster that was last season for the Ravens. Who knows?
yeah. And I wouldn't consider it much of a disaster because
Oh, I would.
it was a disaster. Okay, so technically, yeah, it was a disaster. I'm thinking disaster like drama, not in terms of like injuries and COVID and non-COVID illnesses and all that stuff. Yeah,
That's a separate kind of disaster. I'm talking about the fact that
yeah,
they had so many injuries and they were
yeah,
predicted to, win the division, and they finished dead last, below the Browns.
yeah. I
Bad.
mean, it's not going to be like this like last year. I mean, injuries are like obviously extremely unpredictable. But they did draft Stingley, and they got like the number one center in the draft.
Who drafted
So
Sting? The Ravens?
yeah, they got Stingley. Not Stingley.
Nah,
Shit. What was it? What's his name? It was it was a safety.
I got you. I got you. The Ravens drafted. Where are the Ravens? Hold on.
Kyle Hamilton. That's right. That's right.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle
I don't know
Hamilton.
why the name was
Jesus.
escaping me.
Yeah. They got Kyle Hamilton. Which great pick as a safety, and they're getting all their corners back, and they got like the number one center in the draft. So I mean, they're set up to be decent. They just need to get Lamar help. And the Ravens have always been a defensive team, but
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think the issue with the Ravens was that when Lamar showed up, the Ravens, you said they've always been a defensive based team.
mm-hmm.
Coming from a fan of another defensive based team in their history, the Bucks, when you try to transition into a team that's based more around offense, it takes a while to get into that. The Bucks never really had a legitimate like dominant offense until Brady showed up. Our entire history was run by defense. Our offenses were never good.
You never had a
The Ravens have
quarterback.
been blessed with having a solid offense, but an incredible defense for their entire existence. Recently, they've kind of transitioned more to having an okay defense, but an insane offense.
Yeah.
And they haven't exactly transitioned well. Like, yeah, regular season, they look great, but once they get to the playoffs, defense wins championships, and they just don't have that anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, Lamar, I have all the faith in the world in Lamar. All the faith in the world. That dude is really, really good.
Hell yeah.
Very good quarterback. And especially going into a contract year. I mean, I know Lamar's not the kind of dude to really think about that kind of thing, but he's going into his contract year. So I really think they'll do something crazy this year.
The hype surrounding this year and with all of the rumors swirling around is just insane.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. But I can say we can get a little bit of that from looking at the draft because this draft was insanity. First off, we talked on the show last week about the kind of civil war going on with the Jags on who the first overall pick would be. The owner wanted
so stupid
Hutchinson. Balky wanted Trayvon Walker.
Yep.
They ended up going with Walker. I'll say this. I hope he works out,
Mm-hmm.
But this dude wasn't predicted to be first overall pick until a few days before the draft.
Yeah.
It's a little concerning that he just shot up like that.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. And he is a beast. The dude is ridiculous. All of the Georgia defenders, 5 Georgia defenders went in the first round.
We got one of them.
I know. And that brings me up to a question I had about that. I was curious what your opinion was. One of those boys is bound to be a bust. There's never been a team that's been able to send 5 defensive players into one draft that have all turned out to be studs. So here's my question. Who's going to be the bust?
Honestly, obviously bias here, but Quay Walker.
Who?
Quay Walker.
Ah.
Georgia went to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Trayvon Walker, just because, again,
Jags. Yeah,
suddenly he has the pressure of being the first overall pick. He's going to the Jags, and they still got bulky. They're probably going to mismanage that. It's going to be ugly. I really hope he isn't. I think Jordan Davis is going to be amazing.
He's a run stopper. It's kind of a weird pick, but
I don't say it's weird. I just say it's
interesting.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. There were a lot of interesting picks, I felt.
The Jets not messing up for once.
The Jets and the Giants both had great drafts.
Yeah. Why is New York all of a sudden decent at drafting?
Look at who the Jets selected. Look at the Jets selected. The Jets had Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson in the first, and Jermaine Johnson the second in the first draft. All great picks.
Yeah.
They also had a Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State, Jeremy Ruckert, Max Mitchell, Michael Clemens. These are all great picks. They legit did not miss in their picks.
No. And then the Giants got Thibodeau.
The Giants got Thibodeau.
Kind of pisses me off.
The Giants had an insane draft. The Giants had Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Wan'Dale Robinson, Joshua Azuda, Cordell Flott, Daniel Bellinger, Dane Belton, Micah McFadden, DJ Davidson, Marcus McCathan, Darian Beavers. Both New York teams, they hit it out of the ball. They hit it out of the park with this draft.
They really did. The biggest surprise, aside from the Kobe Dean going to us in the 3rd round, which absolute freaking steal, was the quarterbacks going so late.
That was my biggest surprise. For me, it was Malik Willis going into the 3rd round. Yeah. I was convinced that a team like Carolina would, grab him in the 1st. He fell to the 3rd, went to the Titans, and now we can laugh at the Titans for this because it's appropriate to. Ryan Tannehill said he's not going to mentor Malik Willis. It's a Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation. It's hilarious. Yep. It's so great to see history repeating itself.
And Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, or Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson.
Did you just compare Lamar Jackson to Aaron Rodgers?
No, no, we were just talking about Aaron Rodgers. It's like Joe Flacco when they got Lamar, and when the Ravens got Lamar Jackson, he wasn't going to mentor him. Same with when Joe Flacco went to Denver. He said he wasn't going to mentor Drew Lock. So, not a lot, especially at the quarterback position.
What's up?
I said, especially with the quarterback position, it's not. They're not usually ones to be the mentor.
And this quarterback class is interesting because you look at it. So you got Kenny Pickett was the first one selected in the 1st round, and then you had to wait till the 3rd round with Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, and Matt Corral. The other quarterbacks, by the way, that were added, Bailey Zapp, the Patriots picked him up, and then the rest were 7th rounders: Skylar Thompson, Chris Oladokun. I forgot 5th round Sam Howell, and then Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, by the way, shout out Mr. Irrelevant, the last guy picked to the draft. That's good. I like Brock Purdy at Iowa State. I think he's gonna be a steal. Honestly,
that's the funniest thing. Everybody's like, we all know who Brock Purdy is, so this is kind of a weird Mr. Irrelevant.
He's not Mr. Irrelevant. He's a damn good quarterback.
I know.
Here's a big steal. Here's a guy who's the biggest steal out of this quarterback class, in my opinion. Get ready for this because everyone was clowning Bill Belichick in his draft. Watch Bailey Zapp. Bailey Zapp broke every single QB record in the NCAA at Western Kentucky. Watch him be the biggest steal in this entire draft.
They have Mac Jones.
He's not gonna. No, I didn't say he's gonna be a steal for the Patriots. Yeah.
We'll see. So the biggest deal for me was easily Nakobe Dean.
He should have been first round and falling to like the third round.
Yeah, he fell to the third round. People have him going like top 15, I think.
That is definitely a steal. I will be very upset if that doesn't end up happening. If he ends up being a bust.
Yeah, you and me both.
I know. I also would say, I guess it's a steal because, it should have been the first overall pick, Aiden Hutchinson to the Lions.
Yeah.
I know technically it's not a steal, but like the dude was supposed to go first overall and the Jags skipped him.
Yeah.
It's a steal.
Yeah. And it's just funny watching the draft because the Lions, like before Goodell even came out to announce the pick, the Lions had their pick in.
Yeah.
So, from pick 3, it was like you're now on the clock. As soon as Walker was announced.
It reminds me of when the Vikings got Justin Jefferson because the Eagles took
Jalen Reagor.
Yeah. I'm sorry to bring that up. It's just that's what it reminded me of because you've seen the behind the scene footage of the Vikings, general manager, the Vikings team losing their minds. Like, wait, did they actually not take Jefferson? Grab him! He's on the board. Grab him!
Yeah, yeah. I don't understand what. Whatever. We have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith.
Yeah, you guys had a good draft. Now here's a big question: who, in your opinion, won the draft? Who had the best draft?
Ravens had a great draft. There's so many teams that had a great draft.
Eagles had a good draft. Both New York teams. I'm gonna say probably the Giants in my opinion. Both the Giants and the Jets. Not a bad pick. Yeah, the 2 New York teams are my pick.
I'm probably gonna go with Baltimore. I'm a little upset. I was so mad that Olave went to New Orleans. I was so mad. And then Jameson Williams. It was Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, then Jameson Williams. I was pissed. And then we got Jordan Davis, and I was like, damn it. And then the AJ Brown news broke out, so I was thrilled.
Right. On the flip side, who had the worst draft?
Packers, Patriots.
Yeah. Packers going defense when they needed a receiver in the first round.
Yeah.
Patriots just picking people we've never heard of.
Weird. I know not to question Bill Belichick, but at the same time, like, dude, what are you doing?
Like the Patriots took, let's see, Cole Strange from Chattanooga.
Yeah. Who, what's his name? Had him going in like the third round at 104. McVay.
It just felt like the Patriots were kind of just, I guess Bill Belichick sees something in him.
Maybe.
That's the best I can say. Oh, the Saints had a good draft too.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about
mention them. Yeah. Well, I think that basically wraps up everything to do with the NFL this week. We talked about the draft, talked about the international games. I'd say it was pretty fun, a fun draft.
Very fun.
Let's move on to actual games to talk about. And we start with our usual little segment on baseball. We got to talk about the Cincinnati Reds.
They are 3-20.
When I was moving to my new place, before baseball started, my friend and I, who was helping me move, said, so he's a big baseball fan. So we're having a conversation. And I was like, Josh, what is the most irrelevant team in baseball? Without missing a beat, he said, oh, Cincinnati Reds. He's like, they haven't won a World Series since 1990. You can't name anybody on the team outside of Joey Votto. And they've been absolute garbage.
Yeah. Thanks for
I thought about that because I was going to say the Milwaukee Brewers because I've always been in the fact like, okay, they play in such a small market. They haven't appeared in a World Series since the 80s, but then I remembered, wait, they have big name players and are almost always in the playoffs. I'm insane. It is the Reds.
Yeah.
If you go through if you try to name every team in baseball, the Reds are the one team people forget about. This season so far, through the first month of baseball, oh my, we have seen exactly why that's true.
Yeah. It's incredible. And my dad works out in Ohio during the week. So I texted my mom. I was like, let's go to Phillies games in Cincinnati. Cheapest hall tickets, you can get really close up. So we're going to do that.
If they're bad, it's always good to have a bad team in your city because you can just get tickets on the cheap.
Orioles.
Shout out to $15 Oriole tickets. I went to the
Yep.
Orioles Red Sox game last weekend. By the way, warning to anybody
I forgot you were doing that.
To anybody who goes to an Orioles Red Sox game, I'm just going to give you a warning. If you get tickets for the top level, be warned. That level is completely dominated by college kids. My buddy and I are sitting up there and we're thinking, damn, we're the oldest people sitting here. Everybody on that top level is like children. It's like a giant frat party.
Yeah.
It was like,
welcome to the cheap
insane.
seats.
It was insane. It was just, I got on the Jumbotron though. That was fun.
Did you really?
Well, because these sorority girls in front of us started shaking their asses and the camera got turned. It was just me and my friend looking like absolute creeps. Like, oh, we're on the Jumbotron. Yeah, we're not being creepy.
Idiots.
Hey, cheap seats are where it's at. So Reds fans, I feel for you. But at least you got cheap tickets, I guess.
Like the Athletics, who have nobody going to their games.
That's a shame. They're not as bad as they should be.
I know. And they're not selling any tickets because their owner.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not a fan of a team with a stupid owner. Like,
I know. I don't think any of my teams have bad owners. Let me double check.
Yeah, I'm thinking too.
No, they don't.
Devils and Sixers have the same owner. Phillies, he's kind of. Eagles, I love Laurie.
Back to the Reds. So 3-20 they have a .130 winning percentage, 12.5 games behind in the division already. Their run differential is -68.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The next worst run differential in the entire league, by the way, -41 for the Pirates. But most of that is because of that 21-0 loss to the Cubs.
Shout out Pirates.
Yeah, so the Pirates aren't as bad as that run differential would say. Ignoring that, the next worst is the -29 of the Royals. That's still horrible. The Reds are atrocious.
Yeah, they've won 3 games. They make us look like World Series champions.
It is amazing how horrible they are. And you know what the worst part is? I think they're supposed to be on Sunday Night Baseball this week.
Are they really?
Oh, check that. No, it's Dodgers Cubs. Okay. Ooh. They were scheduled to be on some national game.
But someone said, nah, these guys are shit. Let's move them.
Someone was like, what are we?
Yeah. One crazy thing, though, is Josh Hader, I forget how to pronounce his name, but he is 10 for 10 in saves. He hasn't blown a single save. He has a 0.00 ERA, 9.1 innings pitched, and 15 strikeouts.
I smell a Cy Young award. That is insane. Whole Brewers bullpen is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Hot take, they're all going to be traded at the trade deadline.
Now that the Brewers are good.
If the Brewers are not good, yeah.
Well, the Brewers right now are very, very good, but
yeah, because of their bullpen.
I mean, yeah, the Brewers are the 4th best team in the entire league right now. That's insane. They have come out swinging. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, 0.00 ERA 1 month into the season. I know he's not pitched a lot, but that's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it sucks as a Phillies fan because they brought him in against us, but it's cool outside of that as a baseball fan.
It is. I mean, everybody's trying to chase that elusive ERA that Bob Gibson had in 68, the 1.3 something. Yeah, Bob Gibson was pitching complete games and had an ERA of 1.3 something in 1968. It's insane. Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
And this was the 60s. You're facing some of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Yeah.
In the National League. And he was just cutting them down. Opposing batters were terrified of Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson, more people need to look him up. Arguably the most intimidating pitcher of all time. If you looked at him funny, he would bean you in the head with no remorse. Bob Gibson just straight up did not give a fuck. There's my one.
That's
I'll use
awesome.
it. I'll use my one. Bob Gibson did not care.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, hopefully Hader can keep it like that because this is ridiculous. 1 month of the season, he's absolutely annihilating everybody.
Whatever. Come to Philly.
I know. Speaking of our teams, my Yankees have won 11 straight and are the best team in baseball.
Yeah, that was kind of insane. Did you see the Blue Jays fan give that Yankees fan the ball?
I did not see that.
There's I forget who hit the home run. It was Judge. Judge hit a home run, and Blue Jays fan caught it and gave it to a Yankees fan who had a Judge shirt on. And the kid started crying, and it was great.
Blue Jays fans are extremely nice, especially.
I love the Toronto Blue Jays and their fans. The Blue Jays specifically, the only
They're
Toronto
so nice.
team I
They're
like.
so nice. So
The
we're a
only
month
Toronto
into the
team I
season.
like.
Oh, we'll get into that in a second.
Mhm. Yeah, we will.
As we're a month into the season, let's take a look at the current standings updates. So, AL East, the Yankees are dominating. They are completely wrecking everybody.
Kicking ass.
Toronto, Tampa Bay are kind of stuck in the middle. Boston is struggling. Love to see it. And the Orioles are shit, as expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the AL Central, the Twins have everyone's number. They've taken a 4-game lead over the Guardians. Cleveland and the White Sox kind of straddling the middle for now. Kansas City and Detroit are shit. I expected.
Yeah.
In the AL West, the Angels are, well, they were dominant, but the AL West has turned into a bit of a tough fight. Top 4 teams all the teams are within 5 games of each other. Angels lead right now. Houston's not far behind. Then Seattle, Oakland, and Texas are all kind of right there too. Texas is kind of meh, but they're getting there. So we got that. In the National League, in the NL East, the Mets are on top. They are looking incredible.
For now.
Miami is, for now, of course. Miami has surprised everybody by kind of coming out of nowhere to be surprisingly competitive. And the Phillies and the Braves are kind of stuck in the middle for now, although the Phillies look like they're starting to get it back together.
No, we're not.
Sometimes you guys do.
Yeah, sometimes, but rarely.
Nationals, let's not talk about the Nationals.
No, let's talk about the Nationals.
No,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
They're bad.
Good. What's the record?
9-16.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they're not that good.
No, they're not.
The Central Division, Brewers and Cards are in a fierce battle for the top spot. All the Brewers are starting to pull away because that bullpen.
Yeah, insane.
Pittsburgh, Chicago are kind of in the same boat. They're both kind of meh, but they've got lots of potential. Seiya Suzuki has calmed down a bunch.
Shout out Pirates.
Yep. And in the Reds,
we're not gonna talk. We just talked about them. We're good.
Yeah, we don't need to reiterate. Finally, then the NL West, which I will describe the NL West for you with one sound. What is happening? Everybody is right on top of each other. Everyone is murdering each other. The NL West is an absolute bloodbath. Everybody is within 5 games of each other. It is insane. Colorado and Diamondbacks are good. It's absolute murder. I'm sorry.
You murdered my eardrums.
Look at the division standings. They're all right on top of each other. I know that's eventually going to go, but holy crap, the NL West is a bloodbath. They're killing each other. It's murder. The Dodgers only have a half a game lead over the Padres, who only have half a game lead over the Giants, who only have a 1-game lead over the Rockies. Shout out Rockies, by the way. We all thought they were going to be terrible. They're actually really good this year.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I know. They beat you. They beat your Phillies.
Yeah, well, we also swept them, so.
That's true. So looking at the standings like that, I'm curious, Kylie. Who's your way too early prediction for World Series a month in?
I'll never count the Yankees out. Angels could surprise people. Brewers could surprise people. Mets are going to crumble eventually, like they deserve. Also, shout out Buck Showalter for getting your ass suspended for having one of your pitchers beam Kyle Schwarber. Everybody gets one. Mets, you guys can go yourselves. Not kindly. Disrespectfully, actually. So you guys complain about beating players with balls, but you beam other players with balls. So, you are a trashy team, and I can't wait for your inevitable fall every year.
Nice.
Of the last my life. So
I am gonna say for my way too early 1 month in World Series pick, Yankees Mets, bring back the Subway Series.
I will be a massive Yankees fan if that happens.
Oh yes, and I will enjoy you being.
I will be.
Let's have that happen.
I will be extremely toxic on Twitter. I hate the Mets. Want them to crumble. So moving on through toxicity, we have the stat leaders through week 4. Batting average, Edward Olivares of Kansas City, batting .379.
It's like the one bright thing that the Royals have going for them right now.
Right. Home runs, unfortunately, is Austin Riley of the Braves at 7. RBI, that first baseman of the Mets.
What's his
21.
name? Pete Alonso?
Peter Alonso. Hits is a 3-way tie between Nolan Arenado, that dude from the Mets, Andrew Benintendi of the Royals, all with 29. The Mets player, by the way, is Jeff McNeil. Well, whatever. And then stolen bases, you have Harrison Bader of the Cardinals with 6 stolen bases. With pitching, for wins, it's a 3-way tie between, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way tie, actually, my bad. It's a 6-way tie between Max Scherzer, unfortunately, Joe Musgrove, Adam Simber, Logan Gilbert, Alek Manoah, and Tyler McGill. So, unfortunately, there's 2 Mets players there that have 4 wins. That is 4 too many. ERA, you have Logan Gilbert of the Mariners with a .64 ERA. Incredible to keep it that low this far into the season. Saves, you have Jordan Romano of the Blue Jays with 11. Strikeouts, Corbin Burns of the Brewers with 43. And then quality starts, it's a 2-way tie between Joe Musgrove of the Padres and Alek Manoah of the Blue Jays with 5.
Fun stuff so far. 4 weeks in, baseball is great.
Love baseball.
Let's move on to... Well, actually, before we move on, you want to hear a funny story about a baseball game I called recently?
Always.
Just yesterday? This was really funny. I'm calling this baseball game. And for those who don't know, I work at a community college, basically doing play-by-play and media for them. We're calling a baseball game. It's the second game of doubleheader, and this game has been weird. A lot of weird stuff's happened. Other team, there's a pop fly, and there's a guy on second base, batter on second base with the bases loaded. Starts to run, sees it's a pop fly, backtracks up. He and the second baseman kind of bump into each other. Second baseman still makes the play. It's awesome, Umpire is like, interference. You bumped into him trying to interfere at the play. Opposing bench goes nuts. They and the opposing fans are livid. They start screaming and yelling. They've been going at it with the umpires all game because these umps have been making some interesting calls. All game, they have been yelling at each other. One of the players for the other team starts walking out onto the field and yelling at the umps. Ump looks at him and ejects him. One of the players' dads starts screaming at the umps. Ump points at him and says, "And you can get out too." We had to get security. It was insane. Meanwhile, here I am.
Call?
What?
How fun was that to call?
It woke me up. The game had been really boring up to that point. All I remember is just being like, there seems to be an altercation over there by the opposing dugout. We apologize for that strong language you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen. I have to be neutral, but part of me was like, yeah, kick him out. But I have to be neutral. So
you have to be neutral.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like the announcers it's like the home announcers for like the home radio broadcasts. I mean, if the other team does something good, you're like, oh, that was impressive. You can't be like, ah, crap. Well, yep, he caught it. Ugh,
true.
Gross. You have to be neutral about it.
True.
You can still show, a tiny bit of bias. But anyway, that's my tagline. Baseball games are fun to call. Baseball is fun in general.
Yeah.
So, basketball.
Yes.
Let's talk about, first up, let's wrap up the first round series. Kylie, give us the rundown.
So we got Sixers and 6 in the 6. Hold this L, Toronto. You guys are a trash fan base for basketball specifically. Siakam, you're a bitch.
Damn, you really do not like Toronto.
I hate the Raptors and I hate Siakam. Complain on your way to Cancun. Enjoy watching the games from the couch. Dirty ass player hitting Embiid like that. Like nothing Embiid did was intentional. That was excessive. That's like in the game, was it last night? Where I forget who went on. I'm blanking on the names, but Gary Payton, that's what his name was. That's what he was getting dunked on or getting his shot blocked. And it was just excessive, unnecessary. Like, it was like that. Siakam didn't do it intentionally, but it was excessive, unnecessary. You were down by 30. Calm your ass. So I hate the Raptors. I wish nothing but a terrible franchise for them. The Suns knock out the Pelicans in 6.
Should have been 4, but okay.
Should have been 4, but the Mavs barely beat the Jazz in Game 6 to eliminate them. Thank you, Mavericks. And the Grizzlies win it in 6, which I predicted 7. You guys predicted a sweep. So,
it probably would have gone 7. I'll give the Timberwolves a ton of credit. They made that series way more fun than it should have been.
Well, they're both young teams. I'm not surprised they went to 6. But, so now we have series updates for the second round. The Bucks dominate the Celtics and take game 1, but Giannis gets completely stopped in game 2. So now it's a 1-1 tie. Game 3 is actually Saturday at 3:30. Can't wait to watch that one. And then the Heat beat the Sixers without key players for both teams. So it's a 1-0 lead for Miami in game 2 tonight at 7:30. I'm not going to watch this game.
I feel bad for you. It's weird. Your favorite team and my favorite team are playing, and I'm like, I can't watch this series. I don't want to upset Kylie. I want to keep my job.
Whoever wins this series, I'm rooting for all the way. I have no wishes with Miami. I love Jimmy Butler. Forgot Oladipo was on the Heat for a second. So I saw Oladipo play, and I was like, wait, what? Completely forgot. And I mean, I like Kyle Lowry. Kind of. Ish. So, and Tyler Hero's funny. So, I mean, whoever wins this series, I'm going to be sad the Sixers lose. But I'll root for Miami because there's no other team I'm interested in. And also, I love Jimmy Butler.
You get it. Get it.
I mean, you expected a loss anyway. But with Embiid out, it's just kind of like Heat and inevitable.
Embiid's supposed to come back for game 3, right?
That's the hope. Hope is not a plan, but that seems to be what we're rolling with. And honestly, Kyle Lowry's out tonight too. If our shots can go in, we win the game. Like, unless obviously basketball, if your shots go in, you win the game. But we were missing so many shots. So many.
I'm kind of pulling for Sixers just because it will keep my finals prediction alive from a couple months ago, but I don't know. It's going to be.
You can't root against your own team, buddy.
I can't root against my own team. Yeah,
you can't.
Let's get this job.
Yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, we beat Trae Young.
Exactly. That's the other thing. That is the other thing. You did beat Trae Young.
Yes, we did. Out in the West, the Warriors outlasted the Grizzlies after Ja missed a game winner in game 1, which was awesome. The Grizzlies struck back to take game 2. Series is tied 1-1. You said it's going to be like the Sixers and the Raptors.
Yes, it seems to be extremely toxic and physical. Draymond Green flipped off the crowd. He was like, "I make $25 million a year. I'll do an appearance somewhere and get the money back for a fine. I don't care." So it's going to be a very, very toxic series. Extremely.
Nice. I'm excited for that. Game 1 was phenomenal to watch. And then the Suns won a wild high-scoring game and won against the Mavs. Game 2 is tonight at 10. That's going to be another fun one.
Yeah, I'm going to be asleep though. I'm not staying up that late to watch the game.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I like to watch the entire game. I'll probably watch a little bit, but I'm not going to watch the whole thing.
Well, that'll basically. Yeah, I haven't really been watching a lot of the NBA playoffs just because of a combination of baseball and also because of what I'm about to talk to now.
Your hockey corner.
It is time for the Isaac Hockey Corner, and it's time to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. So we've basically been previewing the playoffs for the last 3 weeks because they've been locked in. We finally got the final lock-ins. Hooray, the Golden Knights completely collapsed and missed the playoffs. Let's go. I can't believe I just dabbed on camera. I'm so sorry. So here are your playoff matchups.
You should apologize.
Here are your playoff matchups. We've got in the first round, Carolina and Boston, which is a combination of the Boston Boys Club, which will not go away, and then Carolina, and shout out to Urinating Tree for creating the greatest meme surrounding the Hurricanes ever. Hurricanes, man. It is the Boys Club versus Raleigh.
Again, loud.
Did I blow out your eardrums again?
Again, yes.
I'm so sorry. Raleigh, we did it. We made the finals. That's your first matchup. Then you have Florida versus Washington. The Panthers are trying to win their first playoff series in nearly 2 decades against the Caps.
They're going to do it. I mean, I know they lost last night, but they're going to do it.
We'll get to that in a second. New York will take on Pittsburgh in a battle of Metro Division powerhouses, and Toronto battles Tampa Bay as the Maple Leafs look to escape the first round for the first time in nearly 2 decades again, against the 2-time defending champion Lightning. And based on certain results, they might actually do that. The West matchups: Los Angeles and Edmonton versus is a surprise Kings team that kind of came out of their rebuild early versus an Oilers team that nobody and their mother wants to win.
No,
ew, gross. I don't want the Oilers anywhere near the finals.
True.
Evander Kane,
kind of gross.
Yeah, Evander Kane, all that drama. No.
True.
You've got a battle of Central Division heavyweights between St. Louis and Minnesota, Colorado and Nashville, as the Avalanche are the favorites to win it all. And then you have Calgary versus Dallas. This is Calgary trying to live up to their potential against a Dallas team that, even though they're kind of meh, was in the finals 2 seasons ago. So, well, everybody got a game 1. So here's all the game 1s. So Carolina blasted the Bruins, outsped them 5-1 in game 1, as expected. It was a lot more closer than the score would suggest. The Hurricanes just wore the Bruins down. Toronto, Tampa Bay, we're going to skip.
We're not.
Maple Leafs utterly destroyed the Lightning.
Yeah, they did.
St. Louis plastered the Wild 5-0. Los Angeles and Edmonton, intense game. Kings win it 4-3. That's going to be a great series. Again, go Kings. Don't let the Oilers anywhere near the second round, please.
No, I hate the Kings.
Oh, God. Penguins Rangers. Did you see this game?
Yes.
Triple overtime in the very first game. It was playoff hockey at its best. Penguins took game 1. Yay. The big stunner in game 1. The Caps stunned the Panthers 4-2. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere.
I'm very scared for Florida. I'm also very happy for the Caps. But
nah. Be all right.
The Avalanche are unstoppable. They beat the Predators 7-2 in game 1.
Jesus.
Yeah, they were up 7-0, by the way.
My God.
And then in a bit of another surprise, the Flames struggled in game 1 against the Stars, and they won 1-0 in a defensive game, but
very defensive game.
Kind of concerning that, the favorites to win the Pacific Division could barely get past a Stars team that is full of injuries and old players.
Yeah.
So Well, that's your hockey updates. This first round is looking like it's going to be a lot of fun. LA, Edmonton, and Penguins Rangers are going to be the 2 series to watch. And for the love of God, Tampa, get your shit together. Please win. Come on.
Nah, I'm rooting for
I want that three-peat. I want
I'm rooting
that
for
dynasty.
the Maple Leafs. I'm rooting for the Maple Leafs.
Whatever. That'll about wrap it up. That wraps up the Isaac Hockey Corner. Let's get into the fun stuff that we do at the end of every episode. Goober of the Week, Who Won It All, and 2 Facts and a Lie.
All right, let's do it. So we got Goobers of the Week. Always Rob Manfred.
Yep.
Again, as always, Jokic for MVP, people. You're wrong.
Yep.
Raptors fans, now another always, because you guys are a joke and terrible. Yep. Nets, just cause. And then, as always, Ben Simmons. Congratulations.
I'd like to add in also Timberwolves protesters because they kind of just disappeared after the first 2 games.
They did disappear, but they were disappearing. They were protesting for a good reason.
They were, but they disappeared and we didn't get to see more shenanigans on the court. I'm disappointed in them. That's what I wanted. That is what I wanted so badly.
Right, so you got your thing. Who won it all?
So last week I went a little tough on you and picked 1986.
You did.
I decided to go easy this year. Originally, I thought to do 2010, but then I realized there would be a better year that I can still torture you.
Don't do it.
Oh, Kylie. We're going to be talking about 2012.
2012.
So let's start with the World Series. Who won the World Series in 2012?
Is it Boston?
Nah, that was 2013.
Damn.
I'll give you a hint. Even years in the 2010s, you usually can guess who won it all. It's pretty simple.
Who won in 2010?
We're doing 2012.
That's right. Who won in 2012? AL or NL?
It was National League.
Giants?
There you go. The Giants beat the Tigers, a 4-0 sweep of Justin Verlander's Tigers. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. That was the Giants mini dynasty. All right. This one's going to be painful. I know you're going to know. Who won the Stanley Cup Finals in 2012?
The Kings.
Who did the Kings beat?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. I specifically picked that one because I knew what it would do to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was the Devils.
It was the Devils. You're right.
Sorry about that. Who won the Super Bowl in 2012?
I'm just gonna go with Patriots just because that's. What year was the Super Bowl? What number was that one?
This would have been 47.
47. Giants? No.
Girl.
Dude, I am blanking. Oh my God.
It was the Har Bowl.
That's right. The Ravens.
It was the Ravens Niners Har Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah, the one where the lights went off. That totally wasn't rigged. Yeah. Finally, NBA Finals.
2011 was the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
2013 was the Heat. 2012 Heat.
There you go. It was LeBron's first title in the Big Three at the Heat, taking on the Big Three of Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
OKC should have won that.
Yep. Bonus points. Can you get the 2 college champions for football and basketball?
2012 Ohio State?
That was 2 years later.
Damn. Wasn't Florida. Bama?
There you go. Bama taking down Monte Teo and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That was the Monte Teo girlfriend year.
That's right.
Yeah. Basketball. This one should be easy. It was a blue blood school led by a guy with an interesting facial hair.
What?
I was a guy.
Kentucky?
Yep. Kentucky with Anthony Davis.
Mm,
Unibrow. Yep, there you go.
that's what I thought you were going, but I was not 100% sure.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got 2 facts and a lie.
All right, I'm ready.
Number
Ready.
1, the longest recorded tennis match lasted for 8 hours.
8 hours. Oh my.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
okay.
chicken demand during the Super Bowl is roughly equivalent to the population of New York. And your favorite bet at the horse track wins roughly 30% or less of the time.
I don't know anything about horse betting, so I'm gonna assume. See, I know there's been Wimbledon matches that have lasted upwards of 5 hours because of rain delays. So that 8-hour one could be true. I'm gonna say that the lie. I'm gonna go with the usual Kylee trend and say the lie is number 3.
You are incorrect.
Damn.
The lie is the first one, the longest recorded tennis match
Damn.
for 8 hours. The actual number is 11 hours.
Damn.
I know. 11 hours.
Well, how about that? All right. That is wow. Huh.
I know.
I knew the chicken one was true because people love wings on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, so it sounds like a believable stat.
That's believable. I didn't know anything about horse betting. That's why I wasn't sure about that one. And I was pretty sure you were going to get me, but damn, 11-hour tennis match. See,
Yeah.
I work 10-hour shifts, so I know I know kind of what that feels like. Yeah, no. That's awful.
Yeah, that's
Brutal.
whew. I can't imagine being at work all day and it being the same game the entire day. Like,
No way. No
no.
way. Who was
No.
in that match? Now I'm curious.
It
me look that up.
was. I had it.
It was a Wimbledon 2010, John Eisner and Nicholas Mahut.
Yeah, lasted like 10 days. 3 days.
What?
3 days.
3 days?
Yeah, something like that. I had it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really crazy. How could someone just, it took place at Wimbledon in 2010. John Eisner won the match against Nicholas Mahut or whatever, and it took over 3 days to complete.
Jeez, that's insanity.
I know. Absolutely crazy. The stamina he has, like, how? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. But, hey. As always, well, that concludes everything. So, as always, thank you guys for listening and or watching. That concludes this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, tune in next week and maybe check out that support button to help us grow and improve. That would be greatly appreciated. You can watch the whole thing and more on YouTube, and do not forget to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. The ad is Sportsgasm Pod. We will be asking questions for future episodes and posting them on the socials as well. We will see you guys next week.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Once again, remember, be sure to interact with us with all of our social media so much. I still can't get over that 11 hours. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on 11 hours.
I know.
I'm trying to be more energetic and try to end the podcast the right way, but I'm stuck on 11 hours. But yeah, as Kylee said, thank you guys for tuning in. And don't drop your mic like Kylee just did. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back same time, same place next week.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.